Hi everyone, thank you for watching. Today I'm here with my mum, Buki Odishote, and I will be asking her some questions about character building. So I think we should just dive right in. Question number one. What do you feel are three of your most defining character traits?
Okay, so three of my most defining character traits. First, I would say integrity, trustworthiness, and I think the last one for me would be respect. Now, I've put that in that order um, because you've asked me for what my character traits would be. But I think what supersedes all of it, which I would say sort of encompasses all these things that I've put there, is civility, because they're all under it. So it's a big umbrella, and it's important to know that all these character traits comes under it.
Good, lovely.
Thank you.
What things do you think more people should work on in terms of character traits?
Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you for that. Like I said earlier, I think civility encompasses all of this. And if you have that mindset of being civil, which is what we, you know, um, basically break down as understanding people treatment, um, and making sure that you take responsibility for your actions, that respect is something that is very key to you, and also that you're able to develop the resilience that is required, to push back even when um, rude behaviors or anything that is being thrown at you that could cause you to get to that place of being uncivil. You have to build the resilience to be able to help you overcome those things. So I would say that civility is something that you have to have at the back of your mind at all times, to constantly, consciously, and consistently ensure that those actions are the things that you take so vitally, and don't joke with them, because they're just the things that will help you live life better, build better relationships, and obviously portray yourself, and not just yourself, your nation, your community, as a better place for other people to want to be.
That's a really good answer.
Thank you.
Now, you've spoken about civility quite a bit already, so I wanted to ask you, what made you want to go into civility? What made you want to study it, understand it more, and actually make it your profession?
Oh, thank you so much for that. So, what made me want to? I started my career as an image consultant. And having practiced that for a bit, I just realized, I'm sure a lot of you probably would have watched Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
And this is always the easiest way for me to describe it when I talk to people about how I ended up with civility. And I realized that, a lot of times, over time, well, I would say over time, people have mastered the art. Some people, not all, have mastered the act of looking good, trying to make that effort. But you find out that what comes from within does not correlate well with the actions, with the appearance, don't go well. So I realized that it's so important that we're not just saying, yes, I'm well groomed, I look nice, um, and then people judge you from that. But then when you open your mouth to talk to people, what is coming out of it is something that can paralyze people for life, that can demoralize people, and even so many people have had incidences where, just from people's reaction, people's action, they haven't been able to progress in life because it's just sort of messed them up mentally. And so I thought it would be important for each and every one of us, to have the right character that goes with our appearance. So I believe character is something that comes from within. So that when you're able to deal with what is within you, then you're able to bring that out for people to see, and it brings you out better, you glow better, you come across more as a better person. You're not having to force the smile, for instance, something as simple as a smile. You're not having to force it or fake it. I know people say fake it until you make it, but it's bigger than faking it. I would say practice it until you're it. So it's a thing where you know that it's important and your smile can make a difference to someone's day, and you start with that, and from there you genuinely smile, not because you feel you're smiling out of compulsion, but because you know that others will benefit from just you smiling.
Yeah.
You know, so something as simple as that. So I did refer to Devil Wears Prada for those who've watched the movie, and if you haven't seen it, you know, it's about a young lady who the boss was so mean to her. Even though they were all well put together and everything, but you could see that what came out from the boss didn't look like, you know, the whole glamour. So I just thought it was important that, you know, in as much as we have so much glamour going out there, we've got to understand that what makes the difference to each individual's life is being able to ease the experience of other people when they encounter you,
Yeah.
and not compounding the problem, because the world has more than enough issues to deal with. And that's why character is so important, you know, to each and every one of us, and understanding why we have to truly build this character and ensure that we're better people and we're better for others as well.
Yeah.
And we have a better world to live in. So
Lovely.
thank you.
You mentioned very briefly that you started off as an image consultant. How do you think that image plays into character? Do you think there's a correlation between the two?
Yes, I do. You know, just like I said, because I didn't drop image completely, image consultancy completely. I still do that. And what I do is that I work with you from within out. So there's something you're trying to project. So we start from, okay, what are you trying to achieve with your image? And when we talk about what you're trying to achieve with your image, so say for instance you're maybe a young girl, you know, for the purpose of this interview, because of character traits that we're talking about children. So maybe a young child who is aspiring to be maybe a school monitor or prefect, for instance, and you're thinking, so what are the qualities that you require to be this person that we're talking about? You know, so we want to start teaching that child, type of child, the importance of, you know, coordinating yourself very well, the importance of ensuring that you're able to bring unity amongst people, you know, ensuring that you're working on your timekeeping so that you're punctual, because you want to be an example to the people that you're leading. You know, we're working with the child to understand that, you know, proper grooming is important to their image, working with them to know that, you know, appropriate dressing for every occasion is important. So those are the key ingredients that I'm going to work with this individual to be able to help them build that thing that they're aspiring to be in future. So it does really correlate, because these things are the things that we'll look at, and then we start to think, so what kind of things do you need to put in your wardrobe that is a constant reminder for you of the character that you're trying to build? And you're not just, you know, building the character for that purpose only, but if you work hard enough to be able to build this character, you realize that it becomes part and parcel of you. And so you're that person who is approachable, who friends will come to settle disputes. You know, you start to realize that you're that person who takes people more importantly, because you're now thinking of working with people, and you're working your image as well as you're working your wardrobe. So it just sort of works hand in hand. And, you know, we teach you the importance of etiquette, social etiquette, you know, etiquette for different places, because there's etiquette for everything you can imagine, you know. So when you have to dine with people, the importance of all of those things are what we put into it.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the last question that I want to ask you is, how do you think you became the person that you are today? What factors do you think played into making you Buki Odishote?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Very important one. So what factors brought about the Buki that you're seeing today? I would say, first of all, as a child, I think I've shared this in a few places before. I was somebody who obviously encountered being bullied at some point of my life, where because I was quite short growing up when I was much younger. And people would normally laugh at me because of my height. And it was something that bothered me to a certain point that I had to speak to my dad about it. And I recollect that he sort of encouraged me at that point and said to me, you've got to let people realize that what they cannot create, they have no right to criticize, you know. And he said to me, God made everybody, you know, he showed me the fingers and said, we're not all equal. And that's why God made everybody different sizes, different shapes, different heights, because we fit whatever it is that our assignment is. So I should tell them next time they say that to me, that I'm happy in my skin, and that's what God made me to be, to fulfill who I am. And that really helped me. And I tell you, from the day I was able to tell them that, you know, in my primary school, then I remember, that gave me my freedom. That was the last time anybody ever referred to my height, and I felt more comfortable in myself, because then I started to realize that this is who I'm meant to be. Now, over time, even when I grew, I didn't realize anymore. I think it was my husband that told me one day, I was saying, oh, I'm a very petite person, and he said to me, petite, are you sure? So, you know, because I didn't realize when I grew, because I had that at the back of my mind. And looking back at that, I realized that, you know, what people say to you, it has a big role to play, because people don't realize what you hold on to and how those things can affect you in future. But I believe that for me, instead of, you know, affecting me negatively, it sort of helped me to understand that I am who I am because that's who God wants me to be, and I've sort of taken it in my stride. Another thing that has helped me as well to become who I am is, you know, I've been privileged to be supported by my parents. My mom helped to highlight a lot of the giftings I had as well, encouraged me to be who I am, gave me a lot of positive words that sort of keeps pushing me on, even when sometimes I feel a bit challenged, you know, maybe with a project or anything that I'm doing. And the character side of me, I believe that two things are very important. One, my parents obviously had a major role to play, because they were people that wanted us to model, you know, good character as children, because it played a very important role to who we become when we're much older. So that was something that was taken so seriously growing up. And I can recollect that as a child, I know people had different songs that were their favorite, and I recollect the one that was my favorite. It's sung in my dialect. I'm going to sing it, but I'll sort of try and translate it, which says, "Ọmọ mi ṣeun rere tìrẹ á dára o, ọmọ mi gbọ́ tèmi tìrẹ á dára o." That was a song I loved so much, and that what it says is, my child, be of good character, and your life will be better for it. You know, my child, listen to my instruction, and your life will be better for it, you know. And that was something that I held on to so importantly and so strongly, and I thought it was something that really helped me. And one other thing my mom used to say to us as well growing up is, you know, when you meet people, don't take the bad things that they have in terms of character. You look at the good things about them, and that's what you emulate, things that you feel can make you a better person. So it's not about seeing people and dumping who you are for that, but if you see something good in people, then you're able to pick those ingredients. So I guess those advice and the things, you know, like I said, are the things that sort of made me who I am today. And I'm also someone who's always been very particular, and I think that's why I went into image consultancy to start off with. Very particular about you, the way you come across to people as far as your appearance is concerned. So I knew that it had a lot to play as far as how people will perceive you, you know, or size you up based on the way you appear. So before you even have the opportunity of saying anything, people can judge you based on your appearance. So I knew from a very young age that how you know, dress up or, you know, look is so important, because my father was very, very, very strict about that. You know, he ensured that we looked appropriately dressed, you know, even my mom as well, at all times, you know. So those are the things I would say that sort of built me up to who I am today. And most importantly, after being guided by my parents, you know, as a child, I met God. And I realized that, you know, nothing that they were trying to pass on to me hadn't come from the Bible. So for me now, I think the Bible is so supported me to finally bloom to who I am today. And I'm so glad that I met God, you know, along the line, because it sort of put everything together. And yeah, still growing, still learning.
Thank you so much for all your answers. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be blessed by what you have to say. I know I was.
Oh,
I know
yes.
you continue to educate me and teach me new things, so I thank you for that. I'm sure everyone out there is thanking you for that too. If you enjoyed this video, I do recommend subscribing to her channel. I also recommend commenting your thoughts below, or sending her a message, or following her on Instagram. There's many options for you. Thank you for watching today. You can close yourself out.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. Interestingly, she didn't tell me the questions. I was hoping she would tell me because we're in the same house, but she didn't. But thank you so much. I'm so glad she took this opportunity to do this for me. I feel so honored, and I'm so happy to be able to share all this with you. And I hope that you were blessed, like she said, with all I've had to share, and that we'll keep being who we are, improving on ourselves, being better than what we were yesterday. And I look forward to seeing you. Like she said, if you do enjoy spending time with me and growing your children, as they go on the journey of life, please do subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, it's Buki Odushote all the way. LinkedIn, I'm there. You find me. And of course, you can send me messages on my email, hello@bukiodushote.com. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It's goodbye.
Bye.